In the old days, a company would pay a celebrity to endorse their product and call that a marketing strategy. Today, an actor's stamp of approval is worth less than the most valuable tastemakers, YouTubers. Some reports say the top YouTubers collectively take home $180 million a year. Thanks to YouTube, Lily Singh, aka Superwoman, gained respect in the comedy field and has a late-night talk show on NBC to prove it. Thanks to YouTube, beauty influencer Jackie Yana cashed in on her 3 million followers and dropped makeup collabs with luxury brands. So don't ever let anyone tell you it's just YouTube. But how does online success translate in real life? We'll find out right now. This is Complex Conversations, from YouTube to major moves, with your host, Sean Evans.
How's everybody doing? Hey, I love you too. Well, it's been a super busy ComplexCon for me. So as you can see, I scribbled out today's run of show for YouTube to major moves, but it's amazing because we have an awesome group on the panel today. A lot of people who've popped on the internet and then taken that success and leveraged it to new opportunities. So, and I'd maybe like to take the opportunity to say thank you so much to the people who've supported Hot Ones, the web series, and everything that we do at First We Feast. Because we're likewise putting our hands in other honey pots. Excited to announce earlier this week that we'll be taking Hot Ones into Hot Ones, the game show, to primetime TV early next year on True TV. So that's the thing. It's fluid over here. And for those of you who are into Hot Ones, the web series, and on YouTube, don't worry. Nothing changes, that stays the same. But also, straddling that line, the mainstream, the internet, YouTube, linear. And today we have many other people on the panel who've done the same thing. So without wasting anyone's time, our first guest is a YouTube icon who's helped transform daily vlogging into an art form. He's also a personal friend of mine, and he's helped mentor, I can say that from experience, upstart creators via one of his latest projects, 368, which operates as a space for YouTube content creators. Everybody make some noise for Casey Neistat.
Good to see you, Sean.
What's up, buddy? Grab a seat. All right, up next, he's turned his 4 million subscriber YouTube fame into stints on MTV's Wildin' Out to acting and hosting gigs, all while maintaining a career as a music artist. Let's make some noise for Timothy Delaghetto. Grab that water, it's a long reach over there.
Yes.
All right, and last but not least, this 22-year-old recording artist went from going viral on Vine to amassing millions of subscribers and views on YouTube to signing a record deal with Epic Records, which resulted in the recent release of his debut album, Valedictorian. Make some noise for DDG. What is up? What is up?
How you doing?
All right, and you got the seat on the end. I guess I'll take a seat as well. And I guess I'd like to start by maybe unpackaging the panel, you know, from YouTube to major moves, because could not one argue that YouTube is major moves?
Yeah, the title of this panel contradicts what this panel is about.
What are major moves, in your opinion, Casey?
I think it's taking whatever you're doing that is small and making it bigger. And I think that historically that has meant starting with whatever platforms are accessible to all, the democratic ones, i.e. YouTube and social media and places like that, and then taking it to the more walled garden places, mainstream television, your new show, the stuff you've done on TV. But I think that that's changing really fucking fast. And I think that's what kind of we're here to talk about, because that defining what big time means has changed. It's really changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, Timothy, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I get the title, because for me, I've been on YouTube for so long, over 10 years. So I felt like when I finally really got on a real TV show, it was kind of almost validated everything I've been talking about, right? Because when I got on, there was no such thing as being YouTube famous. You know what I'm saying? You got on YouTube because you were trying to get your face out there. Like now kids that get on YouTube, they're trying to be YouTube famous. You know, like when I got on, I was trying to be famous, you know, like I was trying to be on TV, I was trying to be in movies and stuff. So now that I feel like I can mark these kind of things off my list, you know, it feels nice, you know.
Does the crossover still matter, or does it matter less? Like, does categorizing yourself in a different way, does that take you to a new tier, or can people peak on YouTube?
I mean, I think people can peak on YouTube. You look what's happening now on YouTube. You look at like the audience of individual creators on YouTube. And we were just talking about my friend David Dobrik. I mean, you look at the numbers he's doing, like 250 million views in a month. There's nothing on TV that does that. I mean, 100 million people tune into the Super Bowl. That's once a year. So if like you're quantifying success or reach based on objective numbers, then yeah, it doesn't get bigger than that. It literally doesn't get bigger than that.
Well, let's talk about a few of the hurdles. And DDG, let's go with you because, you know, when you're an independent creator just making music in your room, right? Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a collaborative process, but then once you sign to a record label, there are a lot more people in the room, you're getting a lot more ideas, and they're coming at you from every direction. How have you learned to trust the expertise of others? How's that experience been for you?
I mean, it's cool, it's dope, but coming from YouTube, like, you know, it's like a repetitive process. It's like you uploading every day, you working every day, and when you get signed to a major label, it's like everything is slowed down a little bit, you know what I mean? So it's hard for me to adjust to their speed. So I feel like that's like the big difference, but other than that, you know, it's cool, I love it. YouTube helped my creative process, so it helped me be independent on my own and give out ideas for the label to help me. So it's like a partnership, you know what I mean? And
build an audience yourself.
Yeah.
Without the help or marketing reach of any major record label. Tim, what about for you? You know, when you're on YouTube and you're programming your channel, it's just you. And then you make the video and you edit it how you want it, and then you upload it directly to your audience. How does that change? How does that shift? And what were some of the challenges then when you start working with MTV?
I mean, it's different in a lot of ways because, you know, like you said, when I'm doing my YouTube videos, I can control everything. I control the angles. I can control what gets cut, what doesn't get cut. You know, like when I'm in my room turning on the video, I know what light is gonna make me look good and wash out my pimples, you know what I'm saying? When I'm on set, so like, you know, at first it's kind of like you gotta do whatever they want, but after a few years on Wildin' Out, you know, or even when I'm on other sets, I'm like, hey, all right, can y'all make sure and get me from this side, because that's my good side. You know, this was a happy coincidence right here that I happen to be on this side.
No, he threw a big stink backstage, said that he would walk out of ComplexCon.
I was like, no, change the whole thing around. Nah, but, you know, it like DDG said, it's definitely a different process because, you know, you're no longer in control, you know? So I remember maybe like that first season of Wildin' Out, the first episode I did, when it came time for the episode to premiere, I was like, yo, I killed this shit. Watch this first episode. Oh my God, I'm so funny. I'm hilarious, right? And they cut all my good shit. And I was so upset. Like, they left me messing up mostly, you know? So I was like, okay, I see how they do on the cutting room floor. You know, like you really never know. And you know, it's something that you have to get used to. Like, so now when we would shoot, I would only be, you know, I would get my jokes off and I wouldn't get excited. I wouldn't tell anybody about it until it premiered on the East Coast. And after it came out in New York and people were tweeting me about it, then I would tell everybody in LA, oh, well, watch Wildin' Out tonight. I'm hilarious.
And then Casey, you're almost the opposite because you kind of started like in HBO before going to YouTube. So do you have any insight on the reverse of that? Was that like a liberating feeling going from YouTube? Was having to figure it out its own challenge, or what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what Tim's saying. It's kind of the opposite. It was like, you know, we worked so hard on that YouTube show. It took us 2 years. I mean, on that HBO show, it took us 2 years to make it. But then it was like you're at the behest of this gigantic organization, whether it's Viacom and MTV, choosing when you're being funny or when you're not, or in my case, it was HBO. And then ultimately, like when they decided to put the show out, like they, like my show did really well, got reviewed really well, but they put it out on Friday nights at midnight. And to try to give that context, like, if you've ever seen any of my YouTube videos, or pick your favorite YouTuber, imagine only being able to watch his or her shit once a week at fucking midnight on Friday. Like, that's like, doesn't make any sense, and it was infuriating. It was like, we put the work in, you put the hours in, and then you're giving up all the agency to someone else. So liberating is a great word. That's exactly what it felt like. You go to YouTube, you go to social media, and you have total control. When it goes out, what goes out, when you're funny, what's your good side. You have all that control. So yeah, it was wildly liberating.
Let's go down the line, and I'd like everyone to say the upload, the song, the moment that sort of shifted their career. Like if you were to look at one tentpole video that changed everything for you, which one would it be?
You starting with me?
Go ahead.
Fuck. I made a movie in 2003, which is like, I'm not good at math, but that's like 74 years ago. And I was like a fucking broke kid, I had nothing, and I made this video about my iPod's battery breaking. And this was 3 years before YouTube. So we just put it on a splash page on the internet. And it blew up. And I remember like it was written about in the Washington Post, and they used the word viral video. And to me, like I only heard that word viral associated with something that gets passed around a frat house. It didn't make sense in terms of video, but that was the first video that I ever made that like people talk to me about. And even today, like people still bring up that video, but that showed me the power of the internet.
Yeah, it's in pre-viral, because back then to have that happen, there are a couple of classic examples, but that was just straight email, right?
Email is it. You have to like, you watch a video, you're like, ha, that's funny. Control C, email, Control V, and then start typing in names. That's what it took. That's what it took.
Timothy, what about for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first video of mine that I would say went like viral, and this is probably like back in 2009, so viral was like 3 million views, you know what I'm saying? Not like next level now, it's like...
Not like everything is.
Yeah, exactly. So I was still in college. This is before I, dropped out to be a full-time this. And I had put out a video. It was kind of a parody of Estelle and Kanye West's American Boy, but it was called First Asian Boy, and it was about why girls should date Asian guys. And it was funny, but it was also bars. Like it was hilarious, and also it was like, whoo, nice. And that was the first time I feel like I had a video that was getting spread in different blogs, and people were actually coming up to me at school for it, and like, oh, YouTube guy, that whole thing. I was at a Chipotle. I remember the first time. Dude was like, oh, you that YouTube guy, First Asian Boy.
Wow.
I was like, yes, guacamole.
What a cosign.
Yeah.
What about you, DDG?
First video, right? So I would say my first video, I had like 500 subscribers at the time. And I was just doing skits with my friends and stuff like that. It was just like for them. It wasn't for like the internet. This before I knew you could make money on YouTube and all of that. So I had like 500 subscribers, and you know K-pop, right? It's like Korean rap. You know what I mean? So they was rapping and it was fire. Like it was hard. I didn't know what they were saying, but it was like really hype. So I was like, let me react to this. I got 500 subscribers at the time. So I reacted to it, and then like it just took off. Like YouTube, they pick what videos they want to go viral or something, you know what I mean? And I went from like 500 subscribers to 15,000. It was like 2 million views, but that was like huge for me, just starting. And then I started seeing money after that. So it was like, it's really crazy. People were stopping me and stuff, so.
You know you're onto something. I remember when we first started Hot Ones, it was not like this huge, big, like, monster viral video series at all. And I remember thinking like, holy fuck, like I'm eating so much hot ass chicken for no reason, like no one cares. And so I look back so fondly at these various sort of tentpole level up moments that we've had in this series. Key and Peele, I think, was the first episode that really like busted out of the small ecosystem of that time, like a sparsely subscribed to First We Feast channel. The Kevin Hart one, but I think like that's part of why you just keep trying to scratch that itch, is because you get these little things that let you know like, oh wait, I'm on the right path, like just keep going there. Like the people who are watching really care. How do I just get more people to watch because no one's leaving the tent? how about this? Because this is like another thing is once Hot Ones started to really take off, all we had was Hot Ones, and we had to build out a programming slate around that show because we just had like everything, the wagon, everything was just tied to one horse. And I remember that being kind of a complicated thing, or at least stretching our bandwidth, because we had to weigh these new opportunities versus just giving people what they subscribed for. Have you ever had any sort of experience or challenge that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a wonderful, beautiful thing to be in a position where you're finding such success that you're being distracted by opportunity.
Right.
But Gary Vaynerchuk, who I think is spoke yesterday.
I saw him yesterday.
That guy's fucking everywhere, man. I don't know how to, but he said to me, like, this idea that you're drowning in a tidal wave of opportunity. And that's a beautiful, wonderful place to be, but it does fuck with you. Because it's what you did on your own at that core that gave you that success. And now you're being distracted by other things, and you're taking away from the very thing that gave you the success in the first place. So I think, yeah, one of the biggest battles, one of the biggest burdens maybe of really finding success on YouTube or anywhere else is that you're forced to constantly choose between doing what you love and what your audience knows and these opportunities that might take you to other places. Do it right and it's really successful. Do it wrong and I think it really fuck things up.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. Like I said, I've been on YouTube for like over 10 years, right? So it's like sometimes trying to stay relevant is the struggle, because like how much longer are these kids gonna want to watch my videos, And
what did you tweet that I put in one of my videos?
It was longevity greater than clout.
Yes, longevity over clout. That's like a fucking mantra. That's biblical.
Well, thanks, bro. Thanks for putting me in that in one of your videos. Yeah, I got some followers off of that. And it's definitely been a struggle for me in terms of like you said, doing what you want to do and doing what your audience might love, because I kind of built like a really specific type of brand in the beginning where I was doing, really like just silly sketches and stuff, right? And, I might have a booty in the thumbnail back then, right? And not that I don't enjoy that anymore, but at the same time, like the stuff I like to watch is kind of like weird, and like I would be sitting there like write a really weird ass sketch. I'm like, man, I would love to do this, but I feel like I didn't know how my audience would react, And at the same time, in the beginning, I was doing music and the sketches, and then I felt that the sketches were kind of getting more, just getting more views, right? So I was like, all right, let me stick with this, put the music on the back burner, even though I loved doing the music, So it's like it's hard to figure out what the people want sometimes.
Yeah, and then how do you react to that? Because like, all right, when we're programming a Hot Ones episode, I guess like the great thing about the audience participating in the conversation is that you have all this immediate feedback, and it's like a cat that'll let you know where it likes to get pet, and we can see in real time. If I look at my Twitter mentions or like the YouTube comments or whatever, I can see everybody requesting who they want to see on Hot Ones, and we take note of that and we care about that. But then I think there's like a little part of you that kind of has to know what people want more than they know what they want, since like internet audiences are so fickle and like complain about like fucking everything. And don't really, like there's that part where you have to wonder, like, is this show being made to like mirror the sorts of requests that we're getting from people who are being vocal on the internet, or is it like true to exactly what we want to do? And me and Chris Schoenberger, who make Hot Ones, we have this idea, and Sarah Honda, we have this like sort of vision for it, where it's like sort of like John Mayer making a record. We'll be like, well, these 8 or 9 are for the people, and then I'm taking 3 or 4 for me. Do you guys ever have that sort of feeling? Or do you think like, I don't know, the other side of it would be like, maybe in the entertainment industry, like you are what people want you to be, Even if you can make a channel that's like so true to you, like maybe you are, like that's how you fit into the quilt.
Yeah, it's like is the dog wagging the tail or is the tail wagging the dog?
Right.
And I think there's only a couple YouTubers that have really been able to change their game up and maintain or grow their audience, like Felix, PewDiePie, love him or hate him. watch his content or not. Like, for some fucking reason, like every 18 months, he completely changes what he does, and his audience just keeps growing and growing. He's making fucking Minecraft videos now and doing 500 views a month. Like, 500 million views a month. Like, how does that happen? I don't think he gives a shit what his audience wants. He's wagging that tail. He's in charge. But I think that there's a real risk. I mean, I definitely fell prey to it. Like, you know, I did 800, my daily vlog, I think I did 800 days in a row without missing a day.
Crazy. Fancy ass vlogs too.
Yeah, very nice vlogs.
I always tell people he fucked the vlog game up.
Sorry.
Because you used to be able to just slap some bullshit clips together and be like, this was my day. And then all of a sudden kids were in my comments like, why don't you do a time lapse?
Right.
Why don't you do it more creative like Casey? I was like, man, on my vlog? No.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry, Timothy. Where I was going is like, it definitely got to a point towards the end when it was like, I felt like I was so susceptible to that feedback. Yeah. I didn't know if what I was making was true to me, or I just knew, like, what did you say, where the cat likes to be scratched?
Yeah, like a cat will like.
Oh no, I understood. Yeah. I just never heard that fucking metaphor before, Sean. I knew what I could do that would make that the audience would like, and you start to sort of feel like a little bit of a phony for it.
Well, let's go down the line because I think that dovetails nicely into this next point.
Woo.
Hey, where you know, when you're uploading that frequently, so like 800 straight days.
I think so.
800 straight days, and then you're caught in this 24/7 feedback loop, which, you know, could take a toll on you. Like, I don't care how strong you are or who you are, that's got to take a toll on you. What's everyone's advice for unplugging, or how important is unplugging? Are you able to work that into your calendar?
What you mean unplug?
Like, just get out of it. Like, get away from the internet.
Yeah, especially for me doing music, because me putting out music, when I first started, everybody looked at me as like just a YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? So it was, went on a whole campaign to make everybody take me serious as an artist. You know, so like breaking away from the internet is more difficult. Like, everyone wants to be on YouTube, everyone wants to be a YouTuber, but then once you're in it, it's really hard to get out of it because people typecast you into one thing. So me doing music, like, I had to deal with people they keep calling me a YouTuber. And it was like frustrating at the same time, but I'm like, YouTube is so powerful. I got this big audience, I'm doing good at it, you know what I mean? But I had to like frown upon YouTube for a second just for me to break out of the internet and be an artist, you know what I mean? Because me, to this day, I still post like 2-3 videos a day. But it's hard to balance that and still have people take me serious as an artist. So it's like, you know, it's a tug of war, but you got to deal with it.
Yeah, I definitely try to maintain a balance. You know, there's a reason why, like, I don't know how you vlogged every day, bro. Like, that's crazy. And I remember, when I was trying to vlog every day, and I remember, like, everybody in my life just, like, hated me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could, because, you know, I always had the camera in everyone's face, and everyone was like, yo, get the fucking camera out of my face, you know? So I had to take a break, and, you know, if I'm trying to, especially with like my wife, you know, she's not a on-camera person. So she knows that right after I upload a video, I'm all up in the comments for like maybe a couple hours, you know? But after that, I try to unplug, close the laptop, and, you know, have some, just get away from it a little bit.
So is that what you'd say it'd be like your relationship to the comments there? Is like you'll give yourself a window in which you're engaging with that sort of thing, and then you close it out and move on? Yeah,
when I got a new video, I'm in the comments, you know what I'm saying? I like to see what the initial reaction is. Who do I need to talk some shit to at first, and then like whose comment do I need to like and put at the top, you know, just to kind of set the tone, you know? But after like a week, I'd let them go and just live and breathe on their own.
What about you, DDG? Are you in the comments?
Yeah, until I see something I don't like. So I like scroll through it, and like, you know, I get a lot of positivity, and then I see that one negative comment, and then I just close it out.
Do you think that you're kind of looking for that though, to tell you?
That's the bad part. Like, I'll reply to a bad comment before a good comment because there's so many good comments.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I literally argue with you in the comment section of my video. But
I'll preach to the kids like, man, don't worry about what other people got to say and just do your thing. But let me see one comment. I'm like, oh, well, check this out, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
What about you? Because you've been in for so long. You probably have to have like some OG way.
Oh, it fucks with you. No, it just fucks with you like it fucks with everybody. Except for, on YouTube, you can go into your settings and make words. You can pick words out that will never, if anybody makes a comment with that word, like, fuck.
Give us 2 of your words.
Okay, I shit you not. Like, you can have multiple words, so it's like, so big nose, I think is like, it's like by like the 400th video, I'm like, I know I have a big fucking nose. Like, what do you want me to do?
So that's blocked for you?
Why you gotta say that every time? But mine's insane. I got like, I don't know how many words are left in the English language. For people, they still come up with comments. They just start misspelling them.
So big nose is your blocked like phrase?
Oh, big nose spelled every way, including a 0 for the O.
Damn.
Yeah, people they work their way around that.
Schnoz.
It's blocked.
Schnoz is blocked as well?
Every variant. But no, Sean, your original question was like, how do you unplug?
Right.
And I think like every person in this room, if you have like 10 Twitter followers, 10 Instagram followers, or you got 10 million, it's like you post that picture and you're like, yeah, and you put your phone away like 8 seconds later, like, let me just see how many likes I got on that. You want that like validation loop. Like, I need it. And as you get bigger, it's like you're like a junkie and you just need a stronger dose and a stronger dose. And it's like, I'm really trying hard right now, like in my personal life, my family and I, we just moved out here to the West Coast, trying to slow down a little bit, 2 kids at home. And I haven't been posting. And then like 3 days ago, I posted a video and I was like, damn, I got kind of a lot of views. I was like, that felt real nice. Real nice. And then like 2 days ago, my wife's like, what are you doing today? I'm like, I got to upload. And she's like, dude, what now? And then I uploaded another video. I'm like, shit, that feels good. And like, I'm right back chasing after like that fix. And I couldn't tell you honestly right now if I'm like doing it because there's a desire for creative expression or like if I just need that like fucked up, externalized validation that like, hey, you fucking big-nosed dude, you make cool videos. You're like, I don't know why I'm doing it. But it starts to mess with you. And like when I was at the cadence of doing it every single day, I felt like I'd externalized so much of like my being. Like you're saying, your wife gets upset if you vlog around. I'm sure there were times where you're like, let me just say something I know she's going to respond to positively so I can get a good response from her. Like you start to be less of your true self. And I think like these are kind of like some of the secondary, the tertiary impacts of having so much social media in our lives that we don't quite yet know the effect they're having on us.
Yeah, and it's like, I think too, it's opportunities beget other opportunities.
Yeah.
So even if you put some stop on your calendar, even if you're like, all right, once I shovel this driveway, I'm gonna go inside and enjoy a hot cocoa, like you kind of can't, because like once you shovel that driveway, it just snows again.
I love all your analogies.
I got a million.
Yeah, bro.
I got a million.
Well, you're drinking your hot cocoa, or are you petting the cat?
Pet the cat.
Yeah.
Figuring out where
but
that cat is
the
itching,
cat's
man.
petting me, and the tail is wagging me.
Damn.
Or am I wagging the tail?
Way to bring it all together, Sean. Thanks everybody for coming today.
YouTube turns 15 in February. How bullish are you about its future?
What's that mean?
Like, do you think YouTube? Do you think it's gonna go boom, continue to scale, just go up in the next 15 years? Do you think it's plateauing in the next 15 years? Do you think it's taking a dip in the next 15 years? Where's YouTube? Is it going like this? Is it going like this? Is it going like this? Is it going like this?
I think YouTube gonna keep getting bigger, personally, because they're doing so many different things. They got YouTube TV now. They got YouTube Music. It's just so many different avenues. So they breaking out of the internet, really, because they doing a bunch of different things that's making their platform big.
Yeah, I feel like no matter how much people try and say like, oh, you know, like YouTube's not the same and YouTube is over and whatever they want to do, like really you go to YouTube to watch anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there's different apps and there's like different websites that we kind of go to watch different things. But at the end of the day, you're going to YouTube to look something up or watch your, you know, you can literally find anything on there. You know what I'm saying? Like literally like, you know, how do I, you know, refurbish my countertops and shit? I don't even know if I use the right words for that, but you can find it on YouTube.
Is that what
you know?
you do on YouTube?
Yeah, furbish, dog.
Yeah, I think YouTube is just going to continue. The growth is going to continue. I think it's like its hegemony over all other media platforms is just going to continue to grow. But I think that's half of it. I think the other half of it is as it grows, it's going to become harder and harder for the individual to succeed on there. I think it's going to become, I say this gently, but like less democratic. And I say that because like, I mean, 2009, the videos that blew up for you, do you think if you were to post those same exact videos today, they would do the same thing? I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
But it's a much more crowded playing field. I mean, like, I get all this credit for changing so much with my vlog. It's just because everybody else is just like talking into their fucking cell phone cameras. Like, I wasn't a genius. You just, all the time lapses, you just let the camera record for like 3 minutes. Like, it's not that hard. But it was like, it was an open playing field. There was nobody standing on that field when I stepped in 4 years ago. Now you want to vlog, good luck. Like, good luck. And I think as that continues, it's going to become harder and harder to break through. And then at the same time, like, who's on your homepage every time you go on YouTube? Jimmy Fallon's on your homepage. Jimmy Kimmel's on your homepage. You got Disney up there. Will Smith. I love the guy. I can't compete with his content. He's fucking jumping out of helicopters and shit, attached to a bungee cord, and he's Will Smith. I just think it's like, as it gets more and more crowded, it's just going to be harder and harder to break through.
Do you think that that's because major publishers, major networks will want to participate more in that space, and then therefore have more control over the pipes, so to speak?
I don't know about, I mean, that sounds a little conspiratorial, but I think that I think that it's going to be a confluence of factors, and the fact that, like, you know, YouTube does, like, as a business, they keep getting in trouble when, you know, whether it's somebody like a Logan Paul doing something stupid, or it's a big streamer saying something they shouldn't, or using language they shouldn't, and they get all this negative attention. And what's safe for them, what's safe is what Saturday Night Live is doing, because it's on NBC. What's safe for them is what a late show talk show host is doing, because it's safe. So obviously, to protect their business, they want to elevate that stuff. And I think they're just doing it because that makes sense as a business. I don't think there's a vast conspiracy behind it. But I think as long as that stuff gets elevated, it's going to be much harder for, like, that 13-year-old girl in the Midwest sitting on the edge of her bed in her parents' house, like, talking into the webcam, trying to make her video, find her start. It's going to be harder for her.
All right, let's go down the line, and everybody can participate in this one. Just point blank, how do you become a millionaire on YouTube?
Jesus Christ. Well, you think I have like a prepared answer for that, Sean?
Yeah.
Why don't we start with DDG?
I would say, I mean, my formula for YouTube was posting more, because I post lazy videos sometimes, like a lot of lazy videos, but I guess people just like me for me. So I get like I post like 3 videos in a day, and they all do like 200K, 300K, something like that. I know I can post a video that get 1 million views, but my formula was like multiple videos a day. It was 1 month I posted 90 videos in 1 month. Made a lot of money.
Insane.
Yeah, so it was like, my formula was like, if I trained my audience to watch ads, okay? That's what I did. So I put an ad, like, I'd be like, watch my ads, you know what I'm saying? But I put like an ad every 2 minutes in every video.
Every 2 minutes?
Listen to me. Like, no, listen to
What's
me.
your retention rate?
No, I posted like an hour-long vlog.
Every 2 minutes?
That's 30 ads.
Commercials,
30
one
ads.
vlog.
Listen, but for some reason, but at the end of the day, this is my thing. YouTube is free. You can't just watch my ad. It's free. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing. But I used that. I trained my audience to watch ads.
Can you just break down how you train your audience? You keep saying that.
I just post fire video. I'll post a fire video, but it'd be an ad every 2 minutes. You have to watch the ad in order to finish the video. You want to finish the video. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was my formula. And if I post a 10-minute video, right, it's a vlog. I post 3 of them in a day. That's 10 minutes. An ad every 2 minutes is 5 ads a video times 3.
It's like 200, right?
So you got a lot of ads for the day. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of ads.
Yeah, that's a lot of ads. But it's good content. People just like me for me. I'm like, you know, YouTube is free. You know.
I'm too nice with this shit, man. I'll be sitting there trying to pick one to put my ads. I'm like, nah, that's too many. I'm like, I just made them watch one. Let me take that one out. But, you know, maybe let me start training mine too, because shit. I mean, what was the question? How to?
Yeah, how do you become a millionaire on the internet?
I mean, you know what? Like, everyone always feels like, you know, they have like the formula. I don't know if there's necessarily a formula. For me, I feel like, yeah, it's important to pay attention to what's like trending and what's popular, but also, you know, like Casey said, nowadays there's so many people competing and so many people trying to do the same thing. It's important to pay attention to what's popping, but also be able to stick out in some way. You know what I'm saying? Like DDG said too, it's like one reason why I feel like I've been able to stay relevant in the space over 10 years is because people just like fuck with me as a person. So whether it was a rap video or whether it was me doing a sketch, it was always kind of like, at the end of the day, it was an underlying vibe of me, you know what I'm saying? So I have a very like specific sense of humor. They know my personality. So it's like, you know, the beauty of YouTube is people feel like they connect to you as opposed to, you know, when you're watching like Jimmy Fallon or something like that, even though he's getting way more views than me, but like people on YouTube, you know, they tune in because they feel like they know you as a person. That's why they love the vlog so much, because they feel like it's more personal, you know?
Yeah, and I even think like to build off that a little bit, with our show, it's because like I was saying before, where you're constantly getting audience feedback, so the audience can see in real time how they're actively shaping and informing the thing that they're watching, and so then they feel closer to it. And then the comment section is kind of like a little, it's like a town square where like everyone's meeting and discussing the show. So there's this like inherent sense of community that's just built into the platform, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that your question was how do you become a millionaire on the internet? I think you have to first really understand what's valuable. And it's as much as I'd like to say, like, it's my creativity for my vlogs that's valuable. It's your funny skits that's valuable. It's your music, your fire videos that's valuable. It's like, no, like, that's the catalyst for something else, and that something else is influence. Like, you're getting paid for your influence. Like, YouTube will let you put those 10 ads in that one video because they know you're influential enough to keep the audience there. Right. MTV wants you because they know you're influential enough to bring the audience there. Like, the brands, companies that I work with or the AdSense that I get, it's because there's someone else who's helping me capitalize off of that influence. So then the real question should be like, you know, how do you create that kind of influence? How do you demonstrate that kind of influence? And I think working back from there is a more interesting place. I think that if you're doing something somebody else is doing, then why do you think you're gonna have influence? I'll go to the source, I'll go to somebody else. Like, you really have to pave your own way. You have to have a unique voice. In the absence of that unique voice, you're just like, you're another sheep in the herd, and there's no way you're gonna get that kind of influence. So I think it's a bigger problem, it's a bigger challenge rather than just figuring out how to build an audience. It's how do you build meaningful influence? And if you do that, there's so many ways you can capitalize on it, but that has to come first.
And then, you know, this panel, it's really about, you know, success in both YouTube and then crossing over, and that can be so nebulous. It's like, what does that even mean? So let's start at the end, like, DDG to you. Which is a better mark of success to you? Like, which means more to you? If you have a YouTube video with 5 million views, or a TikTok with 10 million loops, or selling out a 3,000 person venue. Like, what to you is the most important? Can you rank those things?
I would say definitely selling out 3,000 people or arena or something like that. Just because it's so many people that do YouTube. It's so many people that's successful on YouTube. Like, it's people that I never seen before that I see. Like, somebody put Mentos in Coca-Cola and got like 120 million views. You know what I mean? So it's so many people that's doing it on a big scale. It's like, personally being on the platform for so long, it's like, it's not that important. You know what I mean? It's like oversaturated almost. So like, but it's not many people that's selling out arenas. So it's like, you're like putting this 1% right here if you're doing arenas and all this, but like, it's so many people successful on YouTube. So I feel like it kind of like made it less important.
Yeah, and you know, that's why I love this event so much, is because everything we do is on the internet, and you're constantly like making the thing and then uploading it. And it's rare, you know, people stop you on the street or like in the airport and ask for a picture or something, but it's rare to have that like face-to-face interaction and like physically meet the people who are fans of yours and that you see in the show, or like even the way hot sauce, for example, like originally we made the hot sauce because we're just like, oh, well, everybody's like consuming everything on the internet. We have to like create this physical thing that our fans can touch and put on their shelf. And then it was just supposed to be like this like one-off promo item. We didn't even think we'd get rid of like 500 bottles. And then it just turned into like this crazy big thing.
How many bottles have you sold, Sean? Give us some numbers here. What's your margins?
I don't know. Well, like, I'm not that, you know, I'm not making hot sauce in a tub. And I'm not distributing it. I'm not driving around in a truck, dropping it off at people's places. But, you know, it's been published, I think, in a Verge article recently that it was like something like $12 million, $15 million this year.
Zang.
In hot sauce?
In hot sauce.
That's crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Timothy, what's the difference between someone who recognizes you on the street from YouTube and someone who recognizes you on the street from MTV?
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it is like, you know, it's interesting because when I got on YouTube, right, like I said, I wasn't trying to be YouTube famous. I wanted to do TV. I wanted to do movies. And that was my main reason why I even started uploading internet videos. I thought, oh, this could be a good stepping stone to get in a movie or get on TV. So for me, definitely, like, even though you know, like the internet definitely pays better than MTV, but like when I started getting recognized from like MTV or whatever other like TV stuff I was doing, it was like, okay, this was where I was trying to go, you know, and it was, you know, like, of course, like I'm so grateful for anybody that showed me love from the YouTube stuff, but like I said, it was always, that wasn't my goal, you know, and the fact that like I feel like 10 years deep into it, Asian dudes are just getting put in movies. Outside of kung fu movies, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been trying to make Asian dudes cool for the past 13 years, and they just started putting us in movies. I'm like, okay, now finally I've been building this following for the past 10 years, which is getting me in the door for auditions and stuff, you know? Like I feel like I've been working on the internet for 10 years just to get to a level where I can go on these auditions because they just started being like, you know what, we're gonna put Asian dudes in some regular ass parts now. And I feel like even though my success has come from the internet, I still feel like it was all to work towards where I'm at now, where I'm really just getting started doing the off the internet stuff, you know?
Yeah, and this is good for Tim and Casey. How have you seen the shift from maybe the gatekeepers in entertainment? How have you seen their shift from people who pop on the internet? Like, in other words, like, do you think the mainstream just cares more about these people who are popping on the internet? And we saw in that clip beforehand, it does seem, maybe anecdotally, maybe from like where I sit, that it does seem to be happening more frequently, opportunities given to people who popped on the internet in these mainstream settings. What's it been like in meetings? If you go and like you take meetings with people, do you think the internet figure has been more legitimized over the last?
I don't think they have a choice. I don't think the gatekeepers have a choice. Their hand is forced. Like their job is to get whatever content they're making, whether it's a movie or a song or a TV show, in front of as many eyeballs as possible. So like they could have their arms folded and look away as much as they want, but it's like if this individual is on the internet doing 10 million views a day, like fuck you. You don't have that option to say no to that individual anymore. That's where the eyeballs are. And that shift I think happened pretty quickly, but like there's some really interesting things. Like my wife's in fashion, and when she does her photo shoots, she gets like stacks of headshots of models to pick photo shoots. And it's the headshot, their height, their dimensions, everything you'd expect from a model, and then their follower count. That is a bankable number. You pay for the model based on how many followers they have. Like that's a huge part of it. And I think that like, that's almost like, that's just a small example, but I think that's true everywhere. Like influence is influence, whether it comes from the internet or whether it comes from sort of mainstream. And I think now you're starting to see that respected in a way it never was before, and that respect came from a place of absolute necessity. It's either you respect that or you're going to become irrelevant as this comes up.
Do you think there might be a downside to that, where like the viability of a project, whether it's like a TV show or a movie, like if you're casting it based off clout?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'll tell you specifically, even just on Wild 'N Out, right? For example, when I auditioned, it wasn't necessarily off my following, but it helped, right? And then so I was on the show for like 6 years, and in that time, I kind of saw the switch from they were only auditioning mainly like stand-up comedians and maybe like a handful of YouTubers they had seen. And then with the rise of like Vine and Instagram, they started bringing in like people who were just popping on the internet, right? And it was always like a gamble for them, because I feel like, you got somebody like DC Young Fly who they brought in, who was killing it on Instagram, and I was low-key like, oh, how's this Instagram dude gonna do on stage, right? But then he kills it, But then there was definitely a couple of online comedians they brought in, and it was like a complete fail, you know what I'm saying? Like they come out and they're not in front of their cell phones anymore, and they were on stage and they just like froze up,
Yeah.
So
sometimes it doesn't translate.
Yeah.
How about, and the other side of this, how about in your experience as a recording artist? Because I think that there was a time where, these bands, they'd tour the country, right? And they'd do stages every single night. And it was through that process that they were like, build confidence, build a stage presence, build a chemistry, build even an audience. And now, a recording artist can just pop in their basement, like having like never played a show before, Right. And then you have this adjustment of like Shawn Mendes going from doing acoustic covers in his bedroom to all of a sudden like opening arena tours with Taylor Swift in like a matter of 6 weeks.
it was longer than that.
And influence definitely have a big impact on how big you are, or how like you can cross over to the traditional world. Like for instance, you can use Cardi B. Like she started on just posting Instagram videos, being herself, being funny, and now she's like this complete superstar.
Yeah.
So it's like, you really these days, all you have to do is make people love you, and you can do whatever you want to do. Like you can go to acting, you can go into music, whatever you need to do. As long as it's good, you can make that crossover. So it's really about making people like you as a person.
All right, well, we're running out of time, but we'll close on this. What's in the future? Let's take a second here and either maybe you take a creator that you want to spotlight or a genre that you think is next to blow. I'll start. I want to recommend somebody. His name is John Boy, and he does these things where he'll look at like plays that happen in Major League Baseball, and he's good with like hot mics and lip reading. So like when a manager comes out and he's like swinging his hands up over his head, this guy can like expertly lip read what the manager is saying and like what the umpire is saying back, and then he takes these like bizarre plays that happen in sports and totally deconstructs them. It's coming from a place of expertise, a place of like really knowing the game, and that was something that I discovered recently, and I looked at it and I was like, this could be fucking huge. So I want to shout out John Boy. John Boy, the future. You heard it here.
That's bold. Bold. I think the next sort of wave of content on your creator style, on genre, on YouTube that's going to pop is a version. I actually think, if I can over here, I think it's going to be a version of what you created, of what you and your team created, which is like we're seeing this wild proliferation of podcasts. Like it turns out people like to listen to other people have long, thoughtful conversations. And I think what Hot Ones has proven, I think Hot Ones did it first, especially at the level of success, is that if you can create a vehicle like that that's actually appropriated for a YouTube audience, it's not just like David Letterman and a person on a couch talking about predetermined anecdotes, but like you're challenging people with this fun device that is the Hot Wings, but you're giving a very legitimate, thoughtful interview. Like, yeah, I always click on it because your thumbnails are fucked up funny and I want to see what happens. But like, and then I get wrapped into like Charlize Theron telling some deep story and it's real. And I think that that's going to be the next big thing. I was just on my friend Jeff Wittick's show.
Yeah, I did that show
Yeah,
too.
you did. It's a great show. He's a barber. and he cuts your hair, and it's like a 15-minute episode, but he's interviewing you while he's cutting your hair. And it's like a great vehicle. It's not a podcast, not two people sitting and talking, but it's not just a skit. There's depth there. And I think we're gonna see these kinds of shows on YouTube, and I think they're gonna be, Jeff's show's 10 minutes long, your show's 20 minutes long. I think we're gonna see 30, 40-minute shows. You were saying you do long uploads. There's an appetite for it. And I think that's gonna be the next big thing, like an actual intellectual show that has a device in it that works on the internet, but maybe nowhere else.
Who do I think is next? In terms of the youngins just making dope videos, there's a cat named King Vader, who I think is killing the game. I tell him all the time, I'm like, bro, you are the future of this shit. He just makes really just like different videos, like real like nerdy, but cool as well. And when you gonna put me on Hot Ones?
Whoa, putting me on the spot.
You don't have to answer that. Go ahead.
We're booked up on the season, but you know what? I got to meet Tim today, and he's a great dude. He's a great dude. So look out for the episode just around the corner.
Oh, yes.
You should know, I FaceTime Sean like once a week. I'm yo, I'm here with my friend. She wants to know why she's not on Hot Ones. He's like, stop putting me on blast.
I think the next big thing is artists and actresses and actors and everybody in the traditional world are going to start doing vlogs on YouTube.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody wants to do YouTube now. I feel like Will Smith.
How good
vlogging.
is vlog though?
You know what I'm saying? It's amazing.
So good.
It's hard to compete with it when you got a whole team. They coming from like big cameras like this, you know what I mean, to going down to the vlogs, but they got these expertise behind all these videos. It's hard to compete with it. Especially like artists, a lot of artists are starting to drop vlogs and all this other stuff, and they already got this huge fan base. Like music fans and YouTube fans are completely different, and they're bringing them over to another platform. I feel like all the artists and all the actresses, everybody in the traditional world, gonna start doing vlogs on YouTube.
All right, well, you heard it here first. At this complex conversation, I really mean this. This is my favorite event because the fans, they're so amazing, and the fact that you guys fill these rooms year in and year out is amazing. So I do want to make some noise for Casey, Tim, and DDG, but I also want you. But I also want you to make the biggest noise for yourselves.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Good job.